Hello, everyone. It's Bella and Laura here.
And we are super excited to talk to you about something that comes up a lot, which is how to set healthy goals.
Very, very important. I think it's easy to get wrapped up in let's set these crazy goals and then we get disappointed. So really, this is about setting yourself up for success and how to set goals that you can actually reach without too much misery.
And I don't know about you, but I've been guilty in the past of setting those like crazy goals that you realize you just can't make. And then you feel defeated before you even begin.
Absolutely.
And we don't want you to quit. We want to see you succeed.
No, and I think metabolic living as a whole, I know when I joined the company, I had some great conversations with colleagues and my boss about setting these SMART goals, which I know is an acronym that's used quite a lot, and maybe you've heard of it or not, but that was of course in relation to work, but it really can be in relation to, I think, many different areas of your life, whether that's, physical, professional, spiritual, relational. There are loads of different, I think, areas where you can set goals. And I recommend doing these SMART goals, which are specific goals, measurable goals, achievable, realistic, which I think is the biggest one, and then time related. So, sometimes if you can set like a target date or a general kind of time frame, it can kind of help you achieve those results.
And I think a good thing to think about too, when you get started beyond just the SMART goals, is knowing, so right now, actually, this is perfect timing. We're doing a walking thing as a company, and we are all getting our baseline. And so you guys often ask, why do we ask you to take your before measurements? Or why do you want to figure out where you're at right now before you set these goals? And that's because you really do need to know where you're starting from, because otherwise you can't make a SMART goal, because you'll just be guessing and grasping at straws as to what you think it should be and not where you're at all. It's just something like if I wanted to learn a handstand, right? Because I got out of practice and I couldn't do a handstand. And I didn't just be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do a handstand in the middle of the room, Bella. No, first I had to see, how bad had it gotten? I had to go to the wall. I had to come up with like daily little goals to track off to see where I could get to, right?
Yeah.
You can't, you got to know where you are to get to where you want to go.
That's so true. And it also goes back to something that Laura and I have been discussing recently, and that's comparison with others and how that can really be detrimental. Because I think, it's very easy for us to say if your, dream or your goal is just to feel healthier, you can look at someone else who's, a marathon runner and say, right, well, I want to do that too. Whereas, you haven't actually started on your exercise journey, which is absolutely fine, but you've got to do to kind of meet yourself where you're at and take it from there. So maybe that means for you just starting off by, eating 2 servings of vegetables every day for a week, whatever it is, or going for a small walk 3 times a week. Even if your neighbor is, running 4 miles a day, maybe that's where they're at. But it's about, just as Laura said, finding your baseline and kind of slowly, I think, creating these kind of small, tangible milestones that you can work towards, and then eventually getting to whatever place you want to be at.
And I think you touched on something really good too. It has to be something like you can take action on, right? So like in the whole thing. So like, can I redo my kitchen, right? Or whatever, right? No, I can't do that tomorrow, but could I, replace the plates? Yeah. I guess I could in the next week if I wanted new plates, order them, choose some ones, get them delivered. But am I going to remodel everything and like have a whole new kitchen, Bella? Could I do that overnight?
No.
Oh.
It's about little steps, just as Laura said. As I mentioned, I think it relates to so many different areas of life, but it's very practical.
Yeah, and just start small. So like maybe for you, I know a lot of people do your measurements. That's really important to do your schmeck and pay attention to where you're starting from. That way you can know where you're going. So like maybe, and I would recommend like picking something small to begin with too. So don't try to do everything all at once. So maybe your first week, you're just going to focus on sleep. And you just say, I'm going to go to bed 30 minutes early. And my goal for the week is 30 minutes early. So I get an extra 30 minutes of sleep. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then don't try to go crazy.
No, I absolutely love that. I think, ultimately choosing your goal and then breaking down how to get there, creating these very small little steps needed to eventually getting there. And then also scheduling time to actually make it happen. We are so busy. And I think, it's very important to try and carve out time ahead of time if we can. And then also, I don't think there's any harm in figuring out a plan for what happens if life does get in the way, because it is inevitable. And sometimes, for me, probably after baby, it's going to be, let's just start off with 3 walks a week. And if I'm really busy and crazy busy one day when I had planned to go for a walk, it's okay. My backup plan is I'm going to do it the next day. So I think just, scheduling time, carving time out to really achieve those goals, and not beating yourself up if you don't quite make it that day.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Just be gentle with yourself as you're setting these goals. So first, like, set your goal from a place of compassion, but then also give yourself wiggle room and not trying to be too strict with accomplishing it, because that's generally when that's actually, we have a lot of videos, and that goes back even to this whole all or nothing thinking, where you think if you don't do it all, you can't do it. And then you might as well just quit because there's no point in continuing on because you missed your workout already and blah, blah, like you come up with a million excuses. So just break it down. But I always, even with the goal, I try to set flexibility. So like, if it's just to take my walk, I have a time where I normally take it. But then if I can't, I try to schedule another spot where maybe I could move something around and go for a walk then, like, where can you move it?
Yeah, great advice. I think that's great advice. And again, just be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. I know we harp on this, a lot, but there should be no feelings of guilt or negativity or stress. There should be, something enjoyable for you. And I think one of the key ways to keep it enjoyable is not being too hard on yourself, not being too rigid, because life.
Yeah, life is going to keep happening. So, and if it doesn't, then you're not with us. So be grateful and just be gentle. And also, one thing I would really encourage everyone to do before we leave is just to make sure you share your goals. If you're not sure if it's something that's a good goal for you to have, post it in the Facebook group, comment on this, put it out in the world. If you don't want to share it with us, share it with your friends, find people to tell them to, and then see, like, do they want to join you on this goal? Can they help you stay accountable? Let people know what you're working towards.
Absolutely love it. And the Facebook groups are so wonderful for that, because honestly, everyone in there, together is kind of all collectively working towards the same big goal and is probably looking for a buddy or a friend to kind of help with those small little milestones. So definitely share if you feel comfortable.
All right. Is there anything else we should add?
I don't think so. I think one last quick thing, I'm sure this will come up, which is why I mentioned it, and that's kind of motivation, how to keep yourself on track. One thing that I found that really works for me is kind of setting up, like I said, these little milestones and then creating some sort of a fun reward. And, this doesn't have to be food-based by any means. In fact, I encourage it to be, something fun. Maybe it's like a new planner that you've wanted to buy, or maybe it's not even something that you buy and it's just, I don't know, some fun thing that you've really wanted to do. Or I think don't be afraid to kind of set up little rewards for yourself along the way, as just a little bit of extra motivation.
Yes, treat yourself.
Absolutely. I love that. All right, guys.
On that note, that was so embarrassing. I just said that, but you guys enjoy. Thank you all. And we're always here to answer your questions. So please, if you have a goal you're working on and you want feedback on, post it in the comments, share it in the groups, and we'll help you out. And otherwise, we'll just see you the next time.
Bye.
Bye.